Orchestra. We're going to learn whole notes today on page 7 of your book. Whole notes. So open to page 7 and let's begin. On page 7, you'll see at the top a chart, two charts that explain what whole notes are. Notice the whole note looks like a round circle with no stem. A whole note is played for 4 beats, so it's a long note. It's like putting 2 half notes together, which is 2 plus 2, 4 beats. Now there is such thing as a whole rest, and that's an upside down rectangle. You might remember that a half rest is a rectangle that has a line on the bottom, and so 2 of those would equal 4 beats. So it's just a little illustration there. There's also something on the page that we're going to play called the trio, where 3 parts or 3 groups play together, and a duet where there's 2 groups of players playing at the same time. All right, so here's a chart that explains what a whole note is compared to the other kinds of notes that we've learned so far. Notice we're at the top, we still have the counting system 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's the beat pattern of the songs that we've been doing so far. That's called the time signature. A 4/4 time signature means we're counting in groups of 4. Okay, notice a quarter note. There's a quarter note on each beat. A quarter note rest also goes with each beat. We talked about half notes last time. Half notes are 2 beats, so it takes up a bigger space here in the chart because it's a longer note. So it's going to be like pluck, pluck. On your instrument, it'd be like pluck, 2, and then pluck, 4. Now here we are with a whole note. A whole note, look, it takes up the whole 4 beats of space there. So we're going to count to 4. We're going to pluck the whole note on beat 1, and then we're going to ring 2, 3, 4, all the way through there. And then the whole note rest is like a half note rest, but it's turned upside down. That's the difference. Okay, let's work through the songs together real quick here. Number 18, totally whole notes. I love the titles of these songs. All right, let's get a D pitch and make sure we are singing the correct note. Or for my voice, for your voice. Okay, I'm going to say D, 2, 3, 4. No, it's just a long note. Okay, so we sing the pitch name and then we count the beats afterwards. Rest, 2, 3, begin. D, 2, 3, 4. D, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. D, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. D, 2, 3, 4. Now I started snapping my fingers because a mistake that you might easily make on whole notes is you might rush through them. You might sing the 1, 2, 3, 4s faster than you're supposed to, and that would be not good. You want to make sure you're keeping an even pulse. Okay, so whatever beat pulse you start with, 1, 2, 3, it's like a clock. You must keep that same speed of the pulse the entire song. Here's what it would be like if you made a mistake and you rushed. D, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3. See how my counting is not matching my snapping any longer? It's because I spoke too quickly. All right, anyway, that is a common mistake that all of us can make very easily when we're playing long notes because they seem like they're so long. You pluck and then you wait. You know, you're waiting, waiting, waiting until you can pluck again. Number 19, 3-way pizzicato trio. Okay, there are three lines, line A, line B, and line C. These three lines are joined together with a big black bracket over here. That means when we read this song that there are three groups of players playing all at the same time. It would be wrong to think that we're supposed to play A and then play B together and then play C together. That would be the wrong way to read this music. Because the music is connected on the end like this, it means that you're supposed to play all three lines, A, B, and C, at the same time, which means we need three groups. Okay, does that make sense? Now, when we practice this right now, when you're practicing by yourself, we'll just do one line at a time. And then when we get together as a group, we'll have some fun with this. Okay, we'll have like the violins, maybe we'll play line A, the violas play line B, and the cellos and basses play line C, all together, each having their own special part. And it sounds really cool when you do that. Anyway, let's go ahead and count line A together. There's our D, I think. Let me check the D note again. D, yep, there it is. There's our D. Rest to line A, sing. D, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4, B, 2, 3, repeat. B, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Notice there's a repeat sign there, so we have to repeat it. Okay, let's look at line B now and practice it. Rest, 2, 3, 4. D, 2, A, 4, A, 2, D, 4, D, 2, A, 4, A, 2, D, 4, D, and so on. Repeat it back to the beginning. Okay, line C. Take a look at line C. Can you believe it? All D's, all quarter notes. Now, you're probably thinking, oh man, this will be easy. Actually, it's easy to play, but it's also easy to mess up on. And the thing you might mess up on is you might go too fast. You might start plucking the D's, counting D, 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 D. See what I mean? So you have to be really careful that you're keeping the same pulse as everybody else who are playing the other lines. We all have to be feeling that same pulse. And that's what keeps us together. Otherwise, it'll be a mess and sound like a bunch of noise. All right, so let's try line C together. Ready? Rest, 2, 3, sing. D, 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 and so on. Repeat it back to the beginning. That was not very fun to sing, was it? All right, let's move on. Line 20, quarter, whole, jazz. Jazz, one of my favorite kinds of music to play on my saxophone. All right, you might want to listen to that sound of the song right there if you have the IPS software on your computer. I bet it's a cool jazzy song. All right, so let's take a quick look. We've got quarter notes, a whole note, some more quarter notes, whole notes, and then we have the whole note rest at the end and a repeat. So we'll count rest, 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 4 rests right here on that whole note rest. There's our D. Okay, ready, sing and play. Rest, 2, ready, begin. D, 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 2, 3, 4. A, 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 2, 3, 4. D, 2, 3, 4. A, A, D, D, A, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 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 repeat. D, 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 and so on. Okay? Okay, line 21. What are you going to call two lines of music, line A and line B, that are connected together? Did you say duet? Well, you're right. Duet is the correct name for two-part songs. What do you think the correct name was for three-part songs? Well, it's written right there in front of you. Look at that. Trio. That's right. So three-part songs are trios, two-part songs are duets, and if you want to get really fancy, what's a four-part song? You ever hear what a four-part song is? Did you say quartet? Quartet. And we're actually going to be doing a quartet later in the book. All right, let's try line 21, song 21. Pulse is a must, and we're going to really need to count on this one. Line A. Rest, 2, 3, and go. Rest, 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 rest. A to A, D, 4. Rest, 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 rest. A, D, D. Rest, 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 rest. D to D, D. Rest, 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 rest. D 2, 3, 4. That's a strange sounding song, isn't it? All right, let's try line B. Okay, notice we're playing a measure here, and then we're resting a measure, playing and then resting a measure. Oh, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Look how the lines are opposite of each other. Playing and resting, playing and resting, playing and resting. It's like they take turns playing, and then they wait for the other line to play. Yep. Okay, line B, ready. Am I on the right note? La, yep, I was very close. 1, 2, line B. D to A 4. Rest, 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 rest. D, D, A, rest, 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 rest. A to A, rest, 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 rest. A 2, 3, 4. Rest, 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 rest. One more and we've finished the page again. This is called crazy counting. I bet it's going to be crazy. Yeah. All right. Good luck on this one. If you make a mistake, you're probably one of many people that are going to make a mistake on this. Okay, the first time you read it, it's a little tricky. You might have to practice this one 2, 3, 4, 5, or 10 or 29 times before you get it really good. All right, enough of me talking, right? Let's play. Here we go. Rest, 2, 3, 4. D, A, rest, rest. A to A, D, D 2, 3, 4. Rest, rest. D, D, A, D, A, D, A, D, A, rest. D to D 4, A to D 4, D, A, rest, rest, and so on. Remember the repeat sign at the end. All right, well, that's all for this page. And next week, we're going to go get into a lot of fun playing. So I hope your fingers are not getting too sore from plucking the string. If they are, just give your fingers a break, kind of rub them, give them a few minutes of rest in between songs, and your little plucking finger will start to build up a little hard piece of skin called a callus. Okay, you'll get a little callus on there maybe, rough skin, and then your finger won't hurt anymore. Guitar players have rough skin on the ends of their fingers from pushing down on the strings, and that helps protect your fingers and keeps them from getting, sore. Okay, so it's pretty normal for you to have sore fingers when you're first starting if that's happening to you. Don't feel like it's something weird that's going on or you're doing something wrong. You're doing fine, okay? All right, remember to also practice with good habits. You got good posture. You're holding the instrument correctly, as we talked about, in guitar position or shoulder position, violins, violas. And you are plucking in the correct area of your instrument, okay, which I have shown you already in other videos. All right, thanks, guys.